MCJ Sports.
Hello there and welcome to MCJ Sports. My name is Marko Yerkovich, and today we'll be doing our sports picks for the week of November 29th through December 4th. Joining me is Easton Nelson.
What's up, guys?
Also, Spencer Allgood.
Howdy.
Before we begin, I'd just like to remind everyone to please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below.
Let's get it going.
All right, first up, we have the Golden State Warriors at the Toronto Raptors, Thursday at 7 o'clock on TNT.
I have the Warriors in this one on the fact that I think Steph Curry is supposed to be back for this game. I think it's going to be a grinded out game. Obviously, the Raptors are, I think they're the best team in the NBA with their record, and I mean, they have the better depth as their bench for the Warriors is really not that good, but I mean, I think the Warriors will win it because they have the more star power.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even without Steph Curry, Kevin Durant is playing like a baller.
He's been a baller.
Yeah, he's been a baller, but right
He's also
now
a snake.
he's getting back into it. Who cares? He's the best player on the court. He's better than Kawhi, and he's got the better supporting cast. I'll take Klay Thompson over Kyle Lowry any day of the week.
How do you feel about
We love Kyle Lowry here.
Yeah, we are great fans. No, I can't even say that. Kyle Lowry is.
He is having a good year, though.
garbage.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Spencer?
The
who do you-
Warriors are going to win,
Yeah.
with or without Steph Curry. And I think it all comes down to the fact that Kawhi just left Jordan to sign with New Balance. Have you ever seen a New Balance basketball shoe? He's going to be pulling
Matt
up in
Bonner.
the dad grilling dad fours.
was
Matt
literally
Bonner
gonna-
is the only person that's signed with New Balance.
I was
and
gonna
if
bring
that's-
up the
if
fact
He's
that
that-
going to
my
be wearing
dad wears New
13-pound
Balance.
loads of concrete on his feet. He's going to be averaging like 2 points a game the rest of the season.
They're gonna be uglier than the Puma shoes.
It's
And those are
absolutely
pretty ugly.
detrimental for the rest of his career.
It's over for Kawhi.
It's a rip.
It's over.
Okay, well, clean sweep for the Warriors on that one. So let's move on to our second pick. We have another NBA game. We have the Denver Nuggets at the Portland Trailblazers, Friday 9:30 on ESPN.
I like the Nuggets in this one. They're one of the best offensive teams in the NBA, and their defense isn't as bad as we all thought it would be. Because, I mean, look at their team. They're not known for their defense, especially Jokic and Murray, but they've been doing all right. And I really like the Nuggets, and I hope they do well this year.
Yeah, I have the Nuggets as well. I think their defense is probably one of the best in the NBA right now. You mentioned Jokic. He's an all-star in the West, I
mhm.
think, especially
The
this year.
Joker.
But Jamal Murray has really stepped up as well.
Yeah, Jamal Murray's been an absolute shock to me. I knew he was a good ball player, but he's playing out of his mind all season so far. So I think the Nuggets are going to take it. But Damian Lillard is one of the top 3 slept-on players in the NBA.
He's a regular season player.
Yeah, he is.
Did you forget
The
the
Clippers?
best buzzer
Yep.
beater of my lifetime?
That's my favorite buzzer beater of all time.
Of
yeah.
my lifetime.
But did you watch the playoffs last year?
No, I forgot.
the man gets his bucket.
I
Let
don't
me just
watch
say
that.
I'll
that.
give it to him. I
He
like
gets his
Damian Lillard.
bucket.
I mean, yeah, so another clean sweep there. We all had the Nuggets. So let's move into some college football with number 5 Oklahoma playing number 14 Texas. That's in Dallas for the Big 12 Championship, Saturday 11 o'clock on ABC.
I really wanted to choose Texas in this one because, going back to the old days. But I have Oklahoma in this one. I really like Kyler Murray. And I think, honestly, he's going to have a huge game, which will put him over the hump of Tua. That'll give him the Heisman Trophy. And I think with this win, they're going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a solid pick. I really wanted to pick Texas because, they play defense.
Yeah.
But
Does any team in the Big 12 really play defense?
West Virginia's 25th nationally. Well, after
And what
Me-
was the score when they played Oklahoma?
they give up 59 points. I feel like a lot of teams would give up 59 points to Oklahoma, though. So
Mhm.
I'm going to pick Oklahoma because who is going to stop them? Probably Alabama in like a month, but like they have to get to the playoffs to do that. So
they are
I got
going to.
Oklahoma taking the dub.
It's the same situation as last year. Oklahoma's going to beat Texas, which is their only loss, just like Georgia beat Auburn in the SEC championship last year, which was Georgia's only loss, and they made it. And Oklahoma's going to come out with their hair on fire. They already lost to Texas once this year. That's their biggest rival. They're going to come out
It's hard to beat
heated.
a team
The
twice.
only reason they were down is because Kyler Murray had a pretty rough first quarter, and he's going to come out. He's probably going to throw 600 passing yards and 13 touchdowns, knowing him, and he's just going to set every record for a Big 12 championship game. Hollywood Brown's going to have like 300 receiving yards.
I mean, there is a legitimate
Yeah.
chance that could happen.
I'd set the over-under at 92. in that area.
Both
teams-
way too low.
Both teams will be over 50.
Put it at 100. I'll put it at 100.
Yeah.
I'll take the over.
I'll
on
take the
100.
over comfortably at 100.
Easily. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So we all have Oklahoma in that one. So let's move into some college hoops action. We have number 1 Gonzaga at Creighton Saturday 1 o'clock on Fox.
I have Gonzaga in this one easy. I mean, they beat Duke. I think both you and I thought that Duke was going to go undefeated this year. Obviously, that's not the case. But Creighton isn't as good as they've been in the past years this year. So I think Gonzaga pulls this one out.
Yeah, Rui Hachimura. Watch out for him. He's a tremendous talent.
He's got the blood of the samurai. And
He's a great player. Yeah, he's kind of worked his way up. He's a junior now. He's going to be a lottery pick if he goes. And he's leading this team. They're now number 1 in the country after beating Duke, and I don't see anyone stopping them.
I don't think this will be even somewhat close.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
they're
this
going to win
isn't
by
gonna be
It's a big
30.
blowout.
And I've always said Gonzaga is always one of the good teams that has nothing but ugly players.
That's kind of true.
Wow, you're just going at them like that.
I
really?
mean, I don't think they care. They're going to
they're
be half of them are
athletes.
going to be in the NBA. They don't care about what I have to say. I'm just
Gonzaga
saying.
is like a farm team for the Euro League. Like
Yeah.
that's honestly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like remember that guy from like 2 or 3 years ago, like the Brzezinski, like the
Mhm.
7'4" guy who was
the
like,
one who looks like he belonged in Game of Thrones is the
Yeah.
Mountain.
yeah,
Wasn't that just last year or 2 years ago?
2 years
I
ago,
think it
yeah,
was,
yeah. They were a 1 seed then too.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
will be this year too.
They will.
Mark my words.
Possibly the number 1 overall seed if they keep playing. All right, so speaking of number 1 overall teams, we have number 1 Alabama against number 4 Georgia in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. That's Saturday, 3 o'clock on CBS.
I have Alabama in this one. And as much as I'd like to see Alabama lose, I don't think they will. I think their offense is going to destroy this Georgia defense, even though the Georgia's defense is pretty good, but I think it'll be too much for them.
Okay, I have Alabama as well. I think this is going to be the
I think
closest
it'll be
game they've
close,
played
yeah.
all year. Even though Georgia lost by 20 to LSU, and then Alabama beat
Fluke.
LSU by 29.
It was a fluke. Georgia should have won that ball game.
Maybe, but I've got Alabama in this one. I'd say by 2 touchdowns.
Georgia is going to shock the world
I hope.
and only lose by 3.
Finally,
Oh.
I was gonna say finally maybe some disagreement. You're not picking Georgia. If you're not picking Georgia, no one is
You know,
outside
I
of the
think,
state of Georgia.
to be honest, the only team other than Georgia that has a shot at beating Alabama is maybe Clemson. I think Georgia
Yeah.
has as good a shot of anyone, but
I think
I-
Oklahoma.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's offense maybe could match up, but
Mhm.
I think Clemson overall probably could.
To
match
be
up
honest,
with
until
Alabama.
someone beats Alabama, I don't think they can be beaten. But
That's true.
That's usually how that works.
Yeah.
every week I will pray to whatever God is out there that Alabama loses. And that's just the way it'll be until Nick Saban retires.
I'll pray to Joe
I'm the
Pesci,
same.
To Mike Leach, I'll pray to him.
the pirate god.
What a guy.
All right. So next, we're going to move on to number 21 Northwestern versus number 6 Ohio State in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship. Saturday, 7 o'clock on Fox.
I have Ohio State in this one. I think it'll be a pretty easy one, to be honest, for Ohio State. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially when you're the underdog twice, which Northwestern obviously is. I think Dwayne Haskins will have a big game, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close.
Get ready for this. Ohio
Yeah.
State
It's going down.
looking at the horizon. They're looking at the playoff. They're looking at the back of Oklahoma. They're going to try and catch them. Going to
Boom.
try and sneak into that 4th slot. Not going to happen.
Really?
Whether they
Pat
win or
Fitzgerald,
lose, it's not going to happen.
Clayton Thorson. Yeah, it's not going to happen anyway. But anyway, Northwestern, they're going to shock the world. They
wouldn't
are
be a
going to
shock
beat
to the
Ohio
world.
State. They would be shocking the world.
I don't think so because I wouldn't be shocked because not so fast. Northwestern by 3 touchdowns.
Oh!
It's like going to be like Purdue all over again. Ohio State's going to be riding the high. They just whipped Michigan. They think they're a juggernaut. And then in comes Northwestern. Boom. By 3 touchdowns. They're
I
going to
mean-
drop 48 on them.
I mean, here
it's
it
gonna
is.
be disaster.
Here it is.
It's going to be disaster.
Here it is. Purdue beat Northwestern by 3 points. Purdue beat Ohio State by 29 points.
Urban Meyer will fake die on the sideline
I
with
think-
his fake
he looks
illness.
like he's about to
Northwestern
die
doesn't
every
have a-
time the camera pans to him.
only when something bad happens.
He looks like he's about to have an aneurysm.
Urban
like,
Meyer?
actually, yeah.
Or- okay.
He looks like he's about to die all the time.
And-
I mean, he's probably got so much stress with all the allegations against him.
Serious allegations. But the fact is, if whatever illness he has is related to how much Ohio State is losing by, he could potentially die this weekend because Northwestern is winning big, and that is the fact.
Okay, so
We'll see.
going into this, I did not think 2 out of 3 of us would pick Northwestern,
I
but
didn't
here we
either.
are. All right, so let's move into some NFL action. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the New England Patriots Sunday, 3:30 on CBS.
I have the Vikings in this one. I know you love it, but I think they'll win in a narrow victory. I think the Vikings overall on defense and offense have just a little bit of a better team, but the Patriots do have Tom Brady, so you'll never know what happens.
The Vikings have barely been beating mediocre, if not terrible, talent in the NFL.
So that's what they're going to do this weekend, right?
The Patriots, by most metrics, are one of the best teams in the NFL. They have home field advantage. Not that necessarily matters, but I think Tom and Bill are going to take care of business. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Minnesota is a very talented team. Their defense, because of how they played so far, is a bit underrated. I have New England by 10.
As a Vikings fan, I want to say the Vikings are going to win. As any other football sports fan, the Vikings will probably lose pretty handily. It's the Kirk Cousins effect.
Good
He's-
objective analysis.
It's a big game that's not in Minnesota. He's going to blow it. It's going to happen. He's going to give Adam Thielen just enough yards and catches for fantasy owners to be happy and then find a way to suck at the same time.
Do you think he was better in Washington?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the same thing in Washington. He never was successful. He just won enough games to get them to the playoffs. And it's going to happen here. He's going to get them to the
You
playoffs.
like that? You like that?
I don't like that because they're going to lose come Sunday.
Yeah, they will. So, yeah, Patriots, okay. Okay, so let's move on to another NFL game. We have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers, Sunday, 7:15 on NBC.
I have the Chargers in this one, and like I said earlier, they're on one of the hottest streaks in the NFL, and with the pass rush, I think they're going to cause Big Ben a lot of trouble, especially with their really good secondary and Derwin James and what's that one quarterback's name? I always forget his name.
For which team?
The Chargers.
Phillip Rivers.
No,
Cornerback.
Oh,
corner.
cornerback, okay.
Like when two lines meet.
I can't remember his name. Why can't I think
Neither
of it?
can
Casey
I.
Hayward?
Casey Hayward, there
we
it is.
go.
Pro
He's-
Bowler Casey
yes,
Hayward.
Pro Bowler, yep. And I think the Chargers will win.
It's going to be a close one. I think this is probably the most evenly matched game this season. I mean, these teams could not be any closer together skill-wise. I'm going to have to go with not the better quarterback, the quarterback that's having the better season, and the slightly better defense. I'm going with the Chargers in this one. Very close. Big Ben, Antonio Brown. They're going to have a chance late, but I think the Chargers and their defense will, they're going to hold them. I think they're going to win by maybe a field goal.
It's like the battle of the mediocre great quarterbacks of this
Mediocre
Actually,
great
yeah,
generation.
that's actually
quarterbacks.
really accurate.
Because they can both be great, but they can also both suck. And I think whichever quarterback sucks the least, their team is going to win the game.
Which would be
I think
Phillip
Phillip Rivers just had a great game. He's very confident. He's going to play Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh is going to get him. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really accurate description of those quarterbacks. They're going to be Hall of Famers, but they're going to be some of the worst quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's not a terrible
You really
distinction.
think Phillip
but-
Rivers is
I
getting
hate
in the
Big
Hall
Ben.
of Fame?
Oh,
So-
yeah, Phillip Rivers. Well, not now, but in 3 years after he's added a little bit more to his, his resume, especially making the playoffs.
I think
and-
Phillip Rivers deserves it.
I think he's a Hall of Famer, yeah.
I think he
that
deserves it
is
more
very
than Big Ben.
debatable.
I mean,
This is the first year that I would say he's played well enough. In the years that I remember, this is
he
the
has
first year.
had no defense for
And-
like a decade.
And he is.
And
had
Keenan
no,
Allen's been hurt.
How many playoff games has Phillip Rivers won?
I mean, not a lot.
Can,
But
you
the
can
last
count
time
him
he-
on one
the-
hand.
Yeah, the last time he had a relevant defense, he almost beat Tom Brady and the
So
Patriots.
he almost
so-
won a game the last time he had a good team, which was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Big Ben is probably better than Phillip Rivers.
Nah.
but
He
I
has a
still-
ring.
Nah.
Oh, we're gonna measure things by rings now. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. He's got one.
Okay. All right. Phillip Rivers, Big Ben. It's a good matchup.
Garbage.
Good matchup.
Big Ben.
Big Ben is very ugly. Just like to put that out
He
there.
also
Big
has
Ben
some
has
allegations against him too.
Big Ben has a very big head.
These are some facts.
Past allegations. I guess.
He looks like a hamster when he puts his helmet on because his face just fills up.
It was
the
it was
face.
it was
He
really
has-
bad.
He has a surprisingly, it's a tall face, but it's a big face.
It's really- it
doesn't
was
look
really
like
bad.
it should fit in a
Didn't
football
he get in like a
helmet.
motorcycle accident, like back in the day?
Did he? I don't know.
Just hideous, man.
It was
Can he
really
play the
bad a
game of
couple years
football?
ago when he had a full beard too.
Let me tell you, the man can play football. He will never be a model.
Well, he's gonna play
He's also
football well
pretty-
enough
he's pretty,
for, in your
heavy
opinion,
set,
to beat the
too.
Chargers. But me and Easton have the Chargers. Let's get back on topic after that wild tangent.
How ugly
We
Big
have
Ben
14
is.
Okay,
Iowa
Dad.
at number 9 Michigan State. That's some college hoops action Monday 5:30 on Fox Sports 1. Easton.
I have Michigan State in this one. This one is pretty tough because both teams have shown that they can beat top tier teams. Michigan State obviously almost beat Kansas on the first game of the year, and I have Michigan State in this one just because I think they have a little more experience than Iowa does. So Michigan State will win this in a close game.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have 2 losses early in the season, but they're good losses if there is such a thing, and you mentioned the experience. Iowa is a young team, but they're a talented team. But I'm gonna take Tom Izzo and the experienced Spartan squad in this one.
I hate agreeing with everyone, but I think Michigan State's going to pull this out. What's the Michigan State point guard's name? Where's the headband? You know who I'm talking about, the one who's been
Yeah.
it looks like he's been a senior for the last 6 years,
Yeah.
but just never graduates. The man can hoop, and every year he makes plays in big games, and I think Izzo's just going to, work his Izzo magic, and he's going to shut the Hawkeyes up.
Do you think he's gonna smile, Tom Izzo?
When was the last time he did?
like 2005?
He did in a commercial once.
He did.
He
Wow.
did in a commercial
He did it for
once.
money. Okay.
Yeah.
So, whenever he gets money, we'll see. Does he get money for winning this game?
I think he
Probably
gets
a
I
money.
mean,
bonus
he
of
probably
some
gets
sort?
money if he lost the game.
Yeah. All right.
That's how contracts work.
Yeah.
He just goes
That's
home
what a
and
salary is.
He just smiles. I mean, yeah, it does. Well, okay. So across the board, we got Michigan State there.
Michigan
So a lot
State,
of agreement.
Sparty.
Yeah, a lot of agreement on this episode. A little bit more than we did last week. Easton won the predictions last week. The only difference was that he picked Washington over Washington State. So,
know.
Easton, you won the predictions for last week. How do you feel?
Feel great. I mean, have we been keeping track of the scores?
I mean, you
Like,
won.
I know, but like past weeks, like
No, we'll start from.
so I'm the
last week.
first,
We'll start from
and I'll
last
be the
week.
second too here.
So I guess it's gonna be a tie 1-1 after next week because it's happening, boys.
Spencer, you think you're gonna win? All right. Well,
I think we
I
all
don't
think
know.
we're gonna win. That's why we made the picks we did, Marco.
I mean that is what happened. I believe in my picks. I don't know.
I believe in mine too.
I think we all do.
Do you really believe in your picks?
I do, especially last week when I said Washington would win, and I was right.
Well, you're putting your faith in another very shaky purple team this week.
I think the Vikings
That's the
will pull
Vikings.
it out.
That's who I'm talking about.
All I'm saying is the Browns are making the playoffs.
The Browns are making the playoffs.
You heard
The
it here
Cincinnati
first.
Bengals are going 6-10. That is it for this
They
episode
probably will
of the
because we have our
weekly
backup
pick'em.
quarterback now.
My name is Marco Yerkovich. Joining me was Spencer Allgood and Easton Nelson. Thank you, and we will be back next week for some more picks.